welcome to Cover Story. Today we are in conversation with Suhel Seth. He's an ad man, political commentator and columnist, and of course someone whom I think who's fast becoming a favorite guest on Cover Story. So welcome back, Suhel, for a conversation on the Assembly election results. Good to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Sir, you and I have been discussing while the results were on, what will be the impact of the results on, the three personalities per se, Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal, who has made an impact in Gujarat. He may not get the numbers, but his vote share is pretty considerable. So given let's take them one by one. You're going to begin with Arvind Kejriwal.
I've always said, and often on your shows, that Arvind Kejriwal is the spoiler alert. He has followed a particularly deviant and very, very carefully calibrated strategy of being carefully careless, in the sense that if there is any person who can oppose Modi, it is Kejriwal. And I'll tell you why. He follows Modi implicitly and is playing on the same battlefield that Modi is used to. And that is the battlefield of perception. Think about this. This is a party which is barely 10 to 11 years old. And today, the national media discusses it. It discusses this party more than it discusses any other regional party, if you can call them that. Number one. Number two, he has defeated the BJP twice in Delhi, once in Punjab, and continuously goes to citadels that BJP thinks they own. So, the tragedy is he is wanting to become a Goliath versus a Goliath. He's not playing David anymore. He's not playing the diminutive, I'm no one, G. That victim card he has used to great advantage. He has used advertising spends that are available with him as Chief Minister of Delhi to great advantage. I mean, come to think of it, there are some channels which even today said that, Aam Aadmi Party has done phenomenally well. They've really done amazingly well and their supporters are upbeat, blah, blah, blah. Now, no one is begrudging the fact that Kejriwal is slowly becoming the only pan-national alternative to Modi. The other thing is, both these are dominated by individualism and not dominated by cadres. When you talk of Aam Aadmi Party, you talk of Arvind Kejriwal. When you talk of BJP, you talk of Narendra Modi. Gone are the days when you would talk about the cadres of the BJP or the RSS helping hand or, something like that. Both leaders play on their self-image in a massive way. Both leaders are great self-promoters. I'm not making a judgment, but they're great self-promoters. Both leaders have constantly played the victim card when it suits them. Both leaders also understand how to create perceptual battles and how to, strengthen battle lines across perceptual contexts within the media. So in a manner of speaking, Priya, Narendra Modi has only one formidable opponent, and that is Arvind Kejriwal. The other thing is, and I use this in brands, when an established brand is waiting to be knocked down, the person or the brand that knocks that brand is a brand that is a disruptor. Right. It's not a brand that slowly creeps up. It is a brand that is constantly disrupting the battlefield. Arvind Kejriwal is that disruptor. And I think every time he fights an election, every time he talks about an issue, that's it. And also remember, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi is a municipal election. Right. Because Kejriwal was involved, he made it into a national issue. Why? Because he pitted its victory or its loss against Modi, almost suggesting that in MCD, if the BJP has lost, it is actually Modi who has lost. The dangers are also for all of us to see. Today, Narendra Modi is so inextricably intertwined with the BJP, as is Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party. So when they win, it's rah-rah. But when they lose, it's a massive loss. For instance, today everyone is, congratulating Narendra Modi, his leadership, 27 years of rule, blah, blah, blah. But they're not blaming him for Himachal. It is the same Congress mindset. Ki bhai, credit will go to the Gandhis, the blame will go to Kharge. So that's how the scenario is being painted today as we look at it.
Arvind Kejriwal's campaign, do you think he runs a personality? Because you said, like Modi, he is a personality. Does he run an issue? But his campaign is issue-based. He doesn't run. Huh?
His campaign is issue-based. but he becomes the vanguard or the brand symbol of that idea, of that value proposition. When he talks about education, he talks about himself. When he talks about healthcare, you also remember his rise as a muffler man has been quite phenomenal. There was a time when he was trolled and made more fun of than Rahul Gandhi. Today, that's not happening because after the Punjab victory, that has slightly altered his image even within political peers at a national level. He is no longer the chief minister of a state where he has no power. Today, he has an entire state, and that to a border state like Punjab under his belt. Then he's got the MCD, which he has wrested from the BJP. So you can't deny the fact that he is making inroads. And remember, Priya, for any political party to make inroads such as this in our country against the amount of money, time, and investment that the BJP makes in every election is damn tough. For him to match up to the BJP's spend power, please look at it. There were 4 chief ministers, 11 cabinet ministers, and a multitude of people who campaigned for the BJP in the MCD elections. So willy-nilly, BJP was stupid enough to make the MCD elections almost seem like a Lok Sabha election. So when they lost, that fall was even heavier. I can't understand why they made such a big issue and did not read the tea leaves as to how they would do. I mean, they have the IB under them, they have all these agencies under them, and they still couldn't figure it out.
Was it that they were trying to distract Kejriwal from Gujarat, which is why the whole heavy artillery came out in Delhi?
Now, that's an excellent point, and I was told about this earlier as well. My response to that is, I don't think that was the case. I'll tell you why. They were running 2 parallel campaigns, and they had to. It is impossible for Modi to have lost Gujarat and retain national stature. It would have been over. Even today, trust me, his national stature has been dented with the loss of Himachal. No matter what you might say, people will still say that, look, there is and there can be an opposition. The murmurs started when the MCD was lost by the BJP. It had started before when Punjab was lost. Now it will be even more accentuated. Ke bhai Himachal mil gaya. Today someone has tweeted from the Congress, Anand Sharma, saying, this is the first election in northern India that the Congress has won after a long time. That is what the BJP's bastion was. Everyone said it's a cowbelt party. It's a northern India party. And the fact that Anand Sharma is even saying that means there is a purposefulness in their statements. Ki bhai, haan. Also, one other important thing. Every victory is a great boost, morale booster for the cadres. No matter whether Rahul Gandhi is on a long march to nowhere, but the tragedy is that people...
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, but the delightful thing is that people will still say that, look, there is something in the Congress, kuch baat to hai, ki bhai wo log bhi ab wapas aa gaye. So I think it has to be very carefully analyzed as to where Kejriwal is going and what the Congress now needs to do.
These 2 points I'm going to come to you in a bit, but again, back to the Kejriwal line of action. He is retained, he's wrested MCD away. He's made inroads into the Gujarat, but he's not bothered about Himachal. So Kejriwal is a limited resources, limited. He's only one man, so he can go state by state. How long will this state by state journey go in his campaign against Modi?
Until people in the mainline parties are disgusted with their existing parties and join him. It's as simple. Remember, Sidhu was the worst person to have on board, but even Sidhu left to join him. Not join him, but in a manner of speaking, underlying support. I think Kejriwal's biggest challenge is bench strength. He will need to work on bench strength. He will need to have people who he can trust. Today, the party that is ripe for the picking is the Congress. Remember, there were 12 or 14 rebels from the BJP who fought the elections in Himachal. They are ripe for the picking. Harsh Mahajan, who spent all his life with the Congress, just before the elections moved to the BJP, he must be kicking himself, saying, why the hell did I do that?
I thought of him too.
Yeah, but that's a fact. So, with electoral politics, you never know where the ball will fall. But the tragedy or the point is, the critical point here is that Kejriwal needs to develop a second line of leadership. And I think people like Raghav Chadha, who he's made quasi in charge of Punjab, people like Manish Sisodia, all these guys. But see, also remember, you have to understand what he's up against. The might of all the agencies. His minister is locked up in jail. So, they are also going after him, and he's still managing to make strides. That is something that you have to give him credit for.
You see a sort of adjustment happening. The AAP did well in MCD because the Congress was non-existent. The Congress did well in Himachal because Aam Aadmi Party stayed away from that campaign. So, is this one way to counter Modi? Make these strategic adjustments in each state?
But you see, both Aam Aadmi and the Congress were in Gujarat, and they couldn't stop Modi. So
that's what I'm saying. You cut each other's votes, so you give the level playing field to the larger party.
But the point is, when egos are so high, and when Rahul Gandhi is only walking and not talking to anyone, how do you expect this resolution to happen? Political leadership has to decide. The non-Modi political leadership in our country has to decide whether they want to create a valid, valuable, viable opposition. It is not Narendra Modi's job to get up every morning and start looking under the table, under the bed for an opposition. He can't go to Khan Market trying to buy an opposition. It's not his business, and why should he? So he's allowing this to happen. Also remember that today he has managed to create the lowest common factor. Today, even a person like Kejriwal is declaring his Hinduism. He's become a Janeudhari, Rahul Gandhi. So what he's done is he's made these guys clones. Kejriwal is trying his best not to clone him, but to better him on some of the key manipulative initiatives that Modi is very good at, which is management of media, management of perception, popularity as a mass leader. And look, all said and done, to my mind, Modi is now becoming even more and more unstoppable. I haven't in independent India seen one person assume so much of power, so much of responsibility. I mean, can you imagine? You made the Prime Minister of the Republic of India come across as a polling agent in Gujarat. The amount of time Narendra Modi spent in Gujarat, and this, to be fair, is Modi's victory. It is not Patel's victory. It's not Amit Shah's victory. It is Modi's victory. See, Amit Shah may be a great planner, and I'm sure he is, but you need someone to execute. The face of the BJP today is Narendra Modi. There is no second face. People say there are two men running the country. I say, no, there's one and a half. Right. And more than one is Modi. There's no denying that. So, you take it away from him and nothing will work. Today, more and more people, now see what Bommai has said in Karnataka. This will have a great effect on prospects of the BJP in Karnataka. Now, every state will want Modi to be their star campaigner. Now, how much can one man do? But again, this man is defying all odds. He's working 18 hours a day. He's traveling. He's doing everything he has to do. So, in a manner of speaking, he is actually doing the most unimaginable things that we could have imagined. So, I don't genuinely believe that Modi, to my mind, will now have to take a call, because he is in the same problem area as Kejriwal. And the problem area is bench strength. After Modi, who? And you see, the problem with all Indian political parties is when the boss is ruling, he doesn't want a deputy. Because he doesn't want people to believe that koi mere layak bhi hai, mere kabil bhi hai. So they will not allow someone to come up. But people are going to ask. Modi is going to turn 75 in 2025. He himself has said that at 75, I want to retire. I don't think he'll retire. Vajpayee ji used to brilliantly say there are only two ways that people leave the Prime Minister's residence. Either they die or they're thrown out by the people. No one goes out voluntarily. So these are all the, imponderables that we all have to look at to see how the politics of India will shape up. Because, Priya, only this will then define the actuality and the truthfulness of our democracy. We cannot have a single party, single individual rule. We might as well throw democracy out into a dustbin and create the autocracy that we have become for all the right reasons. People say, oh, Modi's powerful. Modi hasn't stolen power. He has won elections. He has won elections against the most unbelievable odds. He was hounded by the Congress government at the center for 8 years. Survived that. I mean, you have to grant him the fact that he is winning elections within the processes defined by the Indian Constitution.
But the two seats that I look at to, add to your point, which show how popular he is, the trust that the people have in Modi is Lakhimpur Kheri and Morbi in Gujarat. Despite disaster, BJP has swept both of them.
Correct. Because of two reasons. And I go to Gujarat ever so often. And when I talk to people there, they said, see, he's a tried and tested person. He has brought development. This was the second biggest scoring of the BJP after Madhav Singh Solanki's score when he was chief. The people there actually love the man. They believe, A, he's one of us. B, he's been here. He understands our pain. They always believe that Kejriwal is more of a helicopter politician. He'll come in and out like he will do with Punjab. And there your point is right, that Kejriwal will have to create regional leaders who may be even more powerful than him in that region, and for which he will have to sacrifice his ego.
David Ogilvy, for any politician.
But David Ogilvy, the famous advertising man, used to say, if you want to become a company of giants, hire people better than you. If you want to become a company of dwarfs, hire people who are inferior to you. He has to take a decision whether he wants to be a party of giants or a party of dwarfs with only one giant. And this, sadly, is a call that both Modi and Kejriwal have to make.
I agree with you. And neither has, been very happy in the company of giants so far.
Absolutely.
You've seen how people are cut down to size the minute.
Absolutely.
But also, when I was having a conversation with Yashwant Deshmukh, our old friend. So one of his polls threw up a very interesting question. He says, we asked them 3 questions in Gujarat. One is, are you happy with the current government and will you vote for it? Are you unhappy with the current government, but you will still vote for it? And are you unhappy and you will vote against it?
I can take a bet. Number 2 was the answer.
You're right. So that explains what you're saying.
But as I've said, we used to say this about politics in India, and I today even tweeted, I said there's a new word in the Indian electoral lexicon. It's pro-incumbency. Earlier, we would always say anti-incumbency hai. I think it's pro-incumbency because people have realized that I'd much rather be with a known devil than an unknown angel. And today, when that number 2 point of, I'm unhappy, but I will still vote for them, is because the alternatives don't stare them in the face. Number 2, the developmental issues that Modi keeps talking about, aligned with religion, aligned with Hindutva, is a winning combination because he's appealing both to the head and to the heart. These people don't know who to appeal to or which organ to appeal to, whether it's the head or the heart. And they keep oscillating. Modi is very clear. He will do his temple runs. He will go to Kedarnath. He will do everything. He'll go to Somnath. But he will also talk about development. He'll also talk about G20, one earth, one family, one future. So he's playing those cards magnificently. Plus, remember, Priya, he has a great and actually a brilliant marketing machine behind him, which then infiltrates social media, which amplifies his messaging. And remember, he's got central government money and clout, which is a hell of a lot.
In fact, I want to add one more organ to your head and heart, which is feet, which Modi has. He's got people on the ground, which Kejriwal doesn't have, as you said.
Which, by the way, Rahul has. But he's not using. Today, all said and done, if I were Rahul Gandhi, I'd have stopped in my tracks and sent out a tweet congratulating Kharge and saying this victory in Himachal is because of Kharge and Pratibha ji. They won't. As I told you, credit khata unke naam pe, debit khata auron ke naam pe.
Rahul should congratulate Kharge. That's a brilliant suggestion.
This is where Congress lacks strategy. They're so stupid at times as a party. I don't know how the hell they ruled as a... We must have been, drunk or stoned or living in a cave. If I were Rahul Gandhi, I'd have stopped, done a press conference thanking Mallikarjun Kharge, thanking Pratibha Veerbhadra Singh, saying that this is not our victory, it's not my victory, it is not the Gandhi victory, it is the victory of an elected president of the Indian National Congress. Kharge ji, we salute you. And I salute all the cadres. This should have been his message. Well, ye log kaun karega bhai? They think the whole world is created by them.
On that note, I'm going to take a quick break, but Himachal, I'm going to discuss Himachal with you and the BJP's defeat in Himachal. Now, who gets the blame for that? Is it JP Nadda, since he is the party president and Himachal is his home state? I'm going to take a break and come back. Hello and and welcome back to a cover story conversation with Suhel Seth as we decode the assembly election results, focusing on three personalities: Arvind Kejriwal, Narendra Modi, and Rahul Gandhi, but also a bit on JP Nadda. Suhel, the Himachal loss, is that Nadda's loss? I mean, though Modi
Not
did
at
go and
all.
campaign.
You know, I said it on Twitter also today that who will BJP blame for Himachal? The point is that to blame JP Nadda for Himachal and not give him credit for Gujarat is then equally illogical. I mean, you can't say that Gujarat was because of Modi, but Himachal's loss was of Nadda. JP Nadda is the president of the party. He has a structure there. That structure was weak in Himachal, which they should have realized. A. B. The only blame I will put on him, on JP Nadda, is his inability, or the people's inability, to read the tea leaves there in Himachal. When you had people who were rebelling, who were then standing on their own, they were people who you should have kept within the folds of the party, and you didn't. So it's a huge party lacune, but it is blame that must be shared with the people like Jairam Thakur and Nadda and the entire party. In fact, Modi ji went to Himachal so ever so often. Why is he not being blamed? See, this is the problem in India. The problem in India is we are such brilliant sycophants that we fail to realize that when you apportion blame for something, you must also apportion credit. Here we are only giving credit to Modi but never blaming him. I mean, that to my mind is ridiculous.
But the only limit where Nadda is to be blamed to the counter argument is the factionalism, because in ticket distribution, we all saw that video that went viral of an MLA blaming Nadda for factionalism. Prem Kumar Dhumal was not given a ticket. These are all Nadda's politics at play.
But then Nadda should be wrapped on the knuckles. See, here's my thing. There is no point providing prescriptions when you need surgery. Today, the BJP needs surgical intervention in Himachal. By pussyfooting and by mollycoddling these people, you're not solving the problem. You're only postponing the problem. The party is immensely weakened. Then to say that, oh, we will still try and buy MLAs, to my mind, that would be the most destructive thing that the BJP has done to itself. In many ways, the BJP is becoming like the Congress and still saying we are a party with a difference. If they do this, Khareed Bechna nonsense in Himachal, Modi will lose all respect and all moral high ground issues that he's always had in his mind.
That's the reason I was surprised by spokespersons openly coming and saying that even in MCD, mayor to hamara hoga. When you know the seats aapke paas nahi hai, so there's only one way.
That to my mind is where I think Modi is genuinely hurting, without him doing it, genuinely hurting the cause of Indian democracy. When you're winning, and you're winning so gallantly, when you're winning so magnificently, why do you need to stoop in order to conquer? You don't need to. You need to be more gallant. In fact, based on the advice I just mentioned to you, what Rahul Gandhi should say, if I were Modi, I would congratulate Patel for Gujarat. And I would say, I'm responsible for the loss in Himachal. India loves the underdog. India loves the victim. These guys don't understand strategy. I can't remember the last time when our politicians understood the art of sensible strategic communication. Can you imagine Modi had tweeted today कि जो हमारी जीत गुजरात में है उसका श्रेय पटेल जी को जाता है और हमारे कार्यकर्ता को, पर जो हार हिमाचल में है वो हम सबकी है, खासकर मेरी.
I cannot see with all him doing that. But also, Suhel, it took me a while to figure out who Patel. I mean, voters on the ground, they didn't know Bhupendra Patel so much as Modi's.
But that's the problem. No one is more relevant than Modi, which is why Modi is the star campaigner, which is why I come back to what I began with, that these people desperately need a second line of leadership. Because what happens if God forbid, something happens to Mr. Modi? I mean, he's not going to live forever. So is there any succession planning? There never is. See, all said and done with Vajpayee and Advani,
there was a plan.
Do whatever. They developed a second line of leadership. That's how Modi and all these guys came to the fore. That's how Sushma Swaraj came to the fore. They were magnificently large-hearted and sensible to develop this second line. Where is BJP's second line of leadership today? And if there is a second line of leadership, why is that second line of leadership not being given given the exposure that they deserve.
Last few questions is okay. The second line of leadership, Kharge versus Nadda. How do you see the two presidencies?
Kharge, all said and done, is far more experienced, both as a politician and as a parliamentarian. Nadda is technically under Mr. Shah. I think Kharge will be a far more successful president. Please remember, the de facto president of the BJP is Amit Shah. Let there be no illusion. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. Mr. Nadda, as a human being, as a politician, as a person, is excellent. But, we're not looking for good human beings, because then we would start another chapter of the missionaries of charity. We're looking at people who are smart, strategic, and who can get things done. Kharge, all said and done, even at 80, and I'm not being ageist here, he's making every effort and doing what best he can do. And for that, I salute him.
In terms of maneuverability, he's at least set up his own office, for instance. He's, there is a Kharge, he's acted very quickly. When Makhan protested, he quickly accepted his resignation. In the old Congress, resignations were never accepted. So do you see some little bit of change happening in the Congress?
Absolutely. And Kharge realizes, and so do the Gandhis, this is a battle that both need to win. See, if Kharge loses, the Gandhis will have egg on their face. Today, they need a Kharge there. So they will also go out of their way to support Kharge, as much as Kharge will go out of his way not to upset the Gandhis and yet manage the party. So it's a tightrope that both need to walk, and walk with deftness, with integrity, and with insightfulness.
My last question is my favorite side plot, which is still going on, the subplot in Rajasthan. Where do you see now Gujarat is over? We are told that they were saying wait till Gujarat, then we'll take a decision. Now the Bharat Jodo Yatra is also going to be finishing through Rajasthan.
And now let me tell you on your program, and we will revisit this. Mark my words, the elections in Rajasthan will be fought with Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot together. The binding glue will be Mallikarjun Kharge. He will make it a point to bring those people together. Venugopal went to Rajasthan, and you saw that solidarity, the show of solidarity, and the hands being held and all of that. Those are signs of things to come. I generally believe that Rajasthan, the Congress is not going to split. A. B. Sachin doesn't have the numbers. He may have the resolve, but he doesn't have the numbers. C. The BJP wants proven war horses, like in the case of Madhya Pradesh, they did with Jyotiraditya Sindhya. They're not going to take a punt on someone who says, yeah, I'll bring the people, but actually doesn't have them. So I genuinely believe that the elections in Rajasthan will have the twin pillars of a Gehlot and Sachin under the leadership of Kharge, with perhaps the tacit support of the Gandhis.
Who will be on the CM chair?
That I don't know. If I were Gehlot, I would give that chair to Sachin. The problem here is...
How does he walk back from a comment like Gaddar, Suhel? How will he do it?
Well, he'll have to. You see, eating humble pie is a great art. It's the best diet food for people with large egos when you eat humble pie, because you need to recognize that in giving up, there's more grace than in grabbing. And he's got to understand that he's had his run. He's had his tenure. And, you have to give it up with grace. You can't constantly be either yanked out or be, bullied or be spited at by the leadership. So I think it'll be a joint run.
On that note, we're going to revisit this conversation and hopefully have a whole lot more. But thank you, Suhel, for your first reactions to the 3 elections.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.